Hi, family. It's Kedra. I'm here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for coming. So I'm going to continue to do videos, but today I'm going to do something a little different and I'll kind of blend this in here. I want to share a little bit from a book that I had published, Ishmael, Whom God Hears, by Kedra A. Dumas, because that was my name at the time. So, and I'll put information about the book and a link if you want to get it or whatever. I'll put it in the comments below. So this is the introduction. It's titled An Examination of the Words. I began compiling various pieces contained herein in the early 2000s. It was during that time that I was searching to find where I fit in life. It was shortly after I had my son, and I was going through a dramatic shift in my world, a whole shift in my paradigm. Everything that had been important to me up to that point no longer was. Almost immediately, I felt a certain sense of greater purpose. I knew there had to be something greater than what I was experiencing. Up until then, my focus had been on myself. Of course, I had goals. They included completing college, which I did with a bachelor's and master's. They included getting a job in a prestigious accounting firm, which I did. It included opening my own firm, hiring my own employees, being my own boss, setting my own schedule, and making my own rules. I did them all. But it wasn't enough. I realized with this new stage in my life, I had to do more. I had to be more. It was no longer acceptable to live a life driven by fears. The fear of failure, fear of not being what everybody else expects me to be, fear that I was not good enough, fear that I was losing my mind, and many, many other fears. Yes, I accomplished much, but it was driven by the very fear of failing that keeps most people from stepping out in the first place. My movement was in reaction to that fear, in reaction to the thoughts and voices that said I wouldn't achieve. I stepped out in an effort to quiet the voices by proving them wrong. But what actually happened was they just got louder. I climbed higher, I got stronger, they got louder. It was never good enough. I had to step out farther and farther to prove them wrong. Them in quotes. Ultimately, I would reach the edge and fall or simply give up because of the overwhelming fear that I didn't have enough of what it takes to keep going. So in the heat of the moment, when everything was in place and I'm moving towards my destination, I would stop. I would just quit. You can only imagine what I would hear from others, and mostly my own inner critic. You have issues with commitment. You're running from place to place. You're unstable, and it goes on and on and on. I remember when my young niece at the age of 7 asked me, Aunt Kedra, why do you move so much? That's Mercedes. If you know her, you know that's her, right? The only thing I changed more than relationships was my residence. At the age of 7, she even noticed it. I never really answered the question because I couldn't. Of course, I didn't take the time to even analyze it then. I just blew her off with one of those stay out of grown folks' business remarks. But the truth was, I really didn't know. She's 16 now. Well, and that's at the time that this book was published, which was like 2005. So she's 31 now. And she'll actually read, well, she read it earlier, but she'll actually be reading the answer to this question along with you. Today, I realized I was running from me. I was running from the pain and depression that set in when I had too much time in an isolated space with me. As I moved from place to place, I experienced the euphoria of moving into a brand new, freshly cleaned apartment. The excitement of going to another level, a larger, newer, nicer building. One that showed them, in quotes, I was doing well. I experienced the excitement of meeting the neighbors for the first time again. And for that time, I was good. I was occupied. From my perspective, that felt like peace. And when I read that, okay, I'm interjecting here. I'm not reading. When I read that today, I realized that that is a recurring theme. I could reread that paragraph, substituting husbands, and I mean, it's not even funny. It would so apply. Like today, I realized I'm going to reread it. Today, I realized that I was running from me. I was running from the pain and depression that set in when I had too much time in an isolated space with me. As I moved from place to place, as I moved from husband to husband, I experienced the euphoria of moving into a brand new, freshly clean relationship. The excitement of going to another level, a larger, newer, nicer body. One that showed them, in quotes, I was doing well. I had it all. I experienced the excitement of meeting the new family for the first time again. And for that time, I was good. I was occupied. From my perspective, that felt like peace. Sadies, that's why I move so much. What you will read in the following pages are excerpts from my world. These words encompass some of what I felt at a particular time, some of what I imagined, and what I hoped could be. I followed no rules and set no constraints. I just gave it like I got it. You will see the cycles and circles I traveled in search for true peace. You will experience real life, the love, the exhilaration, the quietness, the insecurity, the sensuality, the anger, the rebellion, the mistakes, and the regrets that are life. What you will experience is the realness and humanity of me, unperfected and still in progress. It is this humanity and the weaknesses thereof that connects us one with another. The submission of these weaknesses to a greater purpose connects us to God, and it is in God that we find healing. So that's the introduction to Ishmael, Whom God Hears, a collection of poetry and essays. I will continue to share pieces of this on days where I'm kind of mentally exhausted and I don't really have a new, well, not that I don't have a new thought. I do have thoughts, but I don't want to ramble. So I'll share different pieces of this, and I'll start a playlist with different poetry pieces and things from this. So you're welcome to go get the book. I'll have the information down there. But if you don't get the book, you can just tap into the videos and hear some of the pieces that I'll be sharing. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys today, and I just so appreciate you guys, but I want to share my God box. And so, this is, I talked about kind of putting in place like our life intention or our prayers, and we know it is by our belief that we are healed, or by our belief that things come to be, that the intention is set and the intangible becomes the tangible. And so what I do is when I have different things, and I think in Pillar Moments video is where I talked about when you're going through something, you just take a piece of paper and you can just literally tear it off, write your thought on a little piece of paper, or whatever you're stressing over, put the date on there, fold that baby up, and have just a neat little God box that you can drop it in. And what was really neat today when I went and grabbed my box, I don't have much in there for this year because this has just been a great year. God just has the reins right now for me. And as I go through this journey of kind of exposing myself and moving into my truth and what I believe to be my purpose, I am fully trusting. Now, once I got past the voices, it's kind of been just a peaceful space. But anyway, I did when I opened it, and I usually only open it at year end. And so I always realize when I open it and I go in there that if I open and look at what I put in there, I don't even remember why I put it there. Like, it's not just gone. Like, it's gone. And so what happened is I went in there today, and I don't want to show because I don't want to but anyway, yeah, but anyway, I have something in there that I put in there on February 12th, which today is April 1st. And so I put it on February 12th, and it was to release an attachment that I had to something. And I just put it in there. I don't know what was going on in that moment that I wrote it and put it in there, but whatever it was had me in a caterpillar moment. And anyway, I put it in there. And so today, just as I was bringing it to show it to you guys, because I don't open it like until the year end, really, other than putting stuff in it. But I just happened, there was one piece of paper, and I opened it and I looked, and I'm like, oh my God, like that is done. Like, that has been removed completely. Like, so it's inexplainable. But at the end of the day, what the whole concept of the God box is that we are taking something and we are literally writing it down. So we're taking it from the intangible in our head. It's intangible. We're writing it down and making it tangible. So even though you're writing it here, it's not the person or the thing or the relationship or the job, or it's not the actual thing. This, putting that on piece of paper, represents the physical. So by putting the word there, we're taking it from just in my head where it can play around all day and fuck with me in and out of eternity. I take it out of there. I put it here. I fold it. I drop it. I give it to God. I forget about it, and I move on with my life. And it resolves itself. Why? Why does that happen? Because I've given it to God. He's got that. Like, there's nothing more needed from me. So anyway, I'm just very grateful to have seen that in there. It's actually funny. And so like, that's stupid belief. Like, that's stupid belief. Okay, that makes me want to do one more poem on belief that I have in here. But that's stupid belief. When you drop something off and then you walk away and you totally forget about, that's belief. When you have an intention or a prayer for something, and you pray for it today, and then you pray for it tomorrow, and then you pray for it, today's what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we can go on every day. If you're praying for the same thing every day, then you obviously don't believe that who you're praying to answers that prayer. Or, yeah, you don't believe it, because, if you really believe that who you're praying to, I pray to God. Yeah, I pray to Jesus, but it doesn't matter whoever you're praying to. If you believe that they're going to answer that prayer, then you're going to ask it. And guess what? If it happens, then he answered yes. If it doesn't happen, he answered no, or he answered wait, but you got an answer. You don't have to keep repeating. You don't have to think about how you feel when you keep repeating. Someone keeps repeating, asks you the same question over and over. That's ridiculousness. That's insanity. You don't believe. Challenge that. Check that. If you believe, you ask the question, and if you believe that answer has come, and you keep praying, then, well, you could believe. Let me change that. You could believe, you just don't like the answer. So it could be you just don't like the answer. You're gonna keep praying, but the answer ain't gonna change. If he said no, it's no. That's just what it is. Sorry. Okay. So here's the poem on belief. The power is in what you believe. So be careful what you think, how you think, and who you think on. By your belief, you create what exists within the realm of your reality. The fact that it's untrue is a mere technicality. Our belief in lies makes them real to us. To create our own destiny, our belief is enough. No one can really hold you back. They can only remove the slack with which you have room for error. They can make it uncomfortable to move, but the movement itself, it's up to you. And so that's belief. I have another one. I'm not going to read another one on belief. But, when you really believe in something, like, okay, this chair. Okay, there's a chair that I'm sitting in. Yeah, because I don't want to Stand up and put my boobs in your face. So there's a chair that I'm sitting in. But when I came to sit in the chair, I didn't push the chair. Like, is this chair going to hold me? I didn't test the chair. I didn't turn it upside down and look. I didn't, pray to God, God, please let the chair hold me. I didn't do none of that. I sat my ass in the chair because I believe the chair is going to hold me. I believe the chair is solid. I see the chair. It's held me before. There's no reason for me to question. And that's how our faith needs to be. And that is a faith that works. Test it and see. If you believe in something, or you are calling something into be in your life, whether that's something you want, whether that's something you're going to give, whether that's, an experience, whether that's a goal that you've set, you put that thing in place and you move towards it as if it already exists, because it already does. Once you take it out of the intangible and you put it into the tangible, it's real, baby. And let me tell you something, that doesn't just work on what you want. It also works on what you don't want. So be careful what you allow to come out of your mouth. Just because it's in the intangible, that doesn't mean you thought of it. Some stuff, I'm trying not to curse and talk about God in the same video, but cursing in God exists all throughout the same. It's all him. It's all in him. Like, we can't, and that's what we've got to get away from. We can't take this out of him. Like, we are who we are. Life is as it is. God is everything. He's all of it. He's the good feelings. He's the bad feelings. He's the sadness. He's the happiness. He's the loneliness. He is the connection with others. He is the space in between the masses. He's the space in between the masses. And baby, you can't miss him. You can't miss him. So that is what you've got to understand. And so when you go and you pray, and I call it prayer sometimes. Sometimes I don't call it prayer. Sometimes I call it intentionality. I set my intention for the day. That's prayer. That's just another way to say my prayer for today. That's just saying I'm putting this out to the universe, to God. I don't have to say it out loud, because guess what? The most powerful communication is the communication that comes from the soul to the spirit, that comes from, and let's say from the heart outward. And that's what you feel when you're dealing with people and you're like, oh, it's something about them. They just make me feel so good. That is the connection of the spirit. And that's communication. And that goes beyond words. And if you know anything about words, you know that words have limitations. I can say the same sentence to two different people and it's taken two different ways. I can say the same sentence to two different people and actually mean it two different ways. But there's only so many words in existence. So I am limited to the words in the English language. And so if these are the only words that fit there, and sometimes you're like, I can't really find the right word. And sometimes there just aren't any words for it, especially when it comes to things of the spirit and things of the heart. Sometimes there's not a word. There's not a word for what it feels like to birth a child. There's not. There's not a word for what it feels like to love that child so much that when they're in another place, your heart feels like it's out of your body. But at the same time, you are so proud of them, and you have so much love and light that you're sending, that's surrounding them to protect them. And the trust that you have in your creator is expanded that much more, because you know he's taking care of everything for them, just like he did for you. So all of those things, there are really not enough words. I can say the word, but the feeling, you got to feel it. There are no words to put there. So anyway, words are limited. That's all I'm trying to say. There's a long way to get around to it, but words are limited. But when we take thoughts, we take feelings, we put them in a tangible form. It can be by writing out the best you can on a piece of paper with words. Vision boards, that's a way you can find a picture. Pictures actually are better than words. They're more powerful, because a picture represents something that it would take you a book to write what that picture represents in your soul when it calls to you, right? So anyway, when we take things out of the intangible and we put them into the tangible, miracles happen. we create our world. We create the reality that we live in. We create the reality that shows up for us. So that's what I'm doing. And I thank you for being out here to kind of walk this journey with me so we can see as it goes. It's really exciting to watch. I love the feedback. Some of you are commenting on the videos. Some of you are commenting to me directly. It does, however, I just appreciate the feedback. I just love you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead down there and click the red subscribe button. Once you hit subscribe, a little bell pops up beside the subscribe button, and you can click that bell if you want to know when new videos are out, so you can come out and just maybe listen to an updated video. And if there's anything that you hear that calls to you or means something, or you just feel like you want to share it anywhere. Facebook, friends, loved ones, you can hit share and it'll allow you to text it to people, just whatever, whoever you want to share it with. Please do. Love you. I'm gonna move into, and this is getting to be a long video, so let me say, but I'm gonna start a campaign, and I've got to figure out what the goal. I mean, I know the goal is to put love out into the world. So remember in another video, I think in the butterfly video, I talked about just love, and it's just about love. I want to create a project to move love into the world in everyday things, just a pay it forward kind of love project. But I'm working out the specifics of how we're going to track it, what we're going to do, and then kind of put something in place where we can kind of monitor it and people can come and share, and we can track it, and then have some kind of giveaway or something at the end, based on who's contributed love. And so I'll work out the parameters of it, and then so just keep an eye out for that video to come. I love you. It's long. I'm sorry it's long. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.